Hi, this is Rachel from off-road.cc, and today I thought I'd just give you a quick run through to winter bike setup. So last week we did a video on the essentials for winter kit, and this week we're looking at the bike, what you need, and basically how to get set up to keep you smiling through the winter. So first up, most important thing I think is a mud guard. So get my helmet out of the way. I rarely take my mudguard off all year round, and if you're living in the UK then you're probably the same. It can be super sloppy at any time of the year. The only thing I might change with a mudguard is use a shorter one in the summer and then swap it out to a long one to offer me a bit more protection in the winter. Something like this mud hugger with a long rear and long front as well will stop mud from flicking up from the tyre, and it'll also stop mud that splits up and you riding into it. So that's super important so you can see properly all the time. Second thing you need for winter riding is a good set of lights. Otherwise you're going to be restricted to just riding in daylight hours, which for most of us is probably just going to be the weekends. I find that a light on the handlebars plus a light on my helmet is a good way to go. So I might run anything from 1,000 to 4,000 lumens on the bars, and then 500 to 1,000 lumens on my head. Having the two means that the trail's lit up all the time, but also as you look around the corner, you're lighting up the trail ahead of you with this one on your helmet. A thing to look for when you're looking into purchasing lights is make sure that it's got a nice wide beam, okay? You don't want anything that pinpoints too much, otherwise you're just not going to be able to see where you're going. Lastly, for lights, just need a rear light. It's difficult to fit lights with a dropper post. If you're like me, I haven't got any room to mount a light underneath that dropper at all. So I just use one that I can clip on the back of my bag. I usually take it off or switch it off when I'm riding on the trails anyway, because it can be really distracting for the rider behind you. There's other companies, say for example Exposure, they offer a little LED which is a red LED, just plug into the back of your light, which is a really good idea. Okay, also super important for winter riding is tyre choice. It's your contact patch with the ground, so imperative that you get it right and get something that's going to do the job well. Winter tyres, I like to look for something with really chunky tyre tread, and also that's quite tacky as well. So my set and forget at the moment is a Magic Mary. It's got chunky knobs both on the inner tread and the outer to give me good braking traction and good cornering traction. At the rear, I also like to go for a really chunky tyre. It's got to have well-spaced knobs so it clears the mud quickly, and I like a good bit of ramping on the front of the central knobs so it rolls well. You can go for a full mud spike at the front, as the name suggests. It's got really spiky, sort of quite long tread, but that's likely to be something you're only going to want to use when the conditions really need it. So when it's really, really sloppy and really, really loose, they're a pain in the ass to pedal most of the time. And the long sort of spiky knobs feel a bit vague if you're on hard packed ground because they sort of bend and deflect, but the traction that you'll get out of them when the going is really, really sloppy is really awesome. The other thing that you want to think about for winter is tyre pressures. So where you might not necessarily want to lower them specifically for winter, it is imperative you get it right. As I said, tyres your contact patch with the ground, so the most grip that you can get out of your tyre, the better, especially when it's winter slop and you're sliding around. So for example, a 70 kilo rider that's using 27.5 inch wheels with a 2.4 inch tyre fitted will be able to run 18 to 20 psi in the front, 24 to 26 psi in the rear. The things that will make a difference and make you want to use more pressure is if you are a heavier rider. If you're a more aggressive rider, you're going to need more air in there to stop the tyre burping, or if you've got quite skinny rims, okay, so you need a bit more pressure in there to stop the tyre rolling about. If you are a lighter rider, or if you're using wider tyre and rim combinations, then you'll probably be able to get away with less pressure. For me, I've got 32mm internal width rims here, and I run sub 18 in the front, 17-18 psi in the front, and 22 in the rear, but then I'm only 60 kilos. The last thing to think about for winter is pedals. I've switched back to flats recently just to give my riding skills a bit of a boost. They're awesome to make you reassess your riding, makes you keep your weight down, and also stops you from using your pedals and your cleats to pull the bike towards you when you're bunny hopping and jumping. It also is a great get out clause, so the foot out, flat out thing really is true here. Stomp a foot out if things get sideways in the mud and you're saved. So there's more information, a bit more detail in the article online at off-road.cc. Just check out our winter bike setup. Thanks very much for watching.